Hello everybody, my name is Michael Ack, and today I'll be talking about how networks of human interactions within and between regions throughout the world occurred, along with some examples of some historical networks. This video will be my explanation of Key Concept 3.1, which can be summarized as a deepening and widening of networks of human interaction within and across regions contributed to cultural, technological, and biological diffusion within and between various societies. Interactions between different groups of people can be essential for the survival of a group of people, like a tribe or empire. History has proven that throughout humanity's time on the planet, that people have migrated and traded with other groups using networks of trading across vast regions, along with the exchange of resources. It has been proven that there's been cultural, technological, and biological diffusion between the various group interactions. Some examples of famous trade networks include the Silk Road, Mediterranean Sea Trade Network, and a Trans-Saharan Caravan Route. But I'll get to these networks later on in this video. But for now, I'll be talking about the various modes of transportation used in order to make these trades possible. In order for these trade networks to work, there needs to be some methods of transportation for the regions involved, so that they can get their resources as fast and efficient as possible. The Silk Road was a famous network of trading that connected Eurasia and North Africa via land and sea routes. When traveling on land, merchants favored the use of camels in order to navigate through the deserts that surrounded their regions. Camels are known to be able to withstand harsh desert conditions through Central Asia and were able to carry up to 500 pounds at a time. Camels were first used by nomadic people in Central Asia around the 10th century BC. The Han Chinese used camels captured from the Xingou to carry military supplies across their territory. Also, merchants and sailors made use of the ocean to transport goods to their desired locations in order to be able to sail. They had to have a strong understanding of wind patterns and storm systems to successfully navigate the oceans. An example of this is in the Indian Ocean, where monsoon winds blow from the northeast in the winter and from the southwest in the summer. With this knowledge, merchants were able to travel from the Red Sea between Egypt and Arabia to India in the summer and then back to the Red Sea in the winter. Through their use of these modes of transportation, different empires were able to trade with each other, which led to cultural and biological diffusion. There was also an increase in the number of trading cities due to an increase in communication and trading of various regions. These cities played an important role in the spread of goods on the Silk Road and Indian Ocean trade routes. Cities like Hangzhou and Timbuktu were natural centers of urbanization and development that contributed to the growth of trade on the Silk Road and Trans-Saharan Caravan Route. These cities were either located along major waterways or located along overland trade routes. Hangzhou is a trade city surrounded by rolling hills and mountains populated with over 1 million citizens that made the city thrive. Marco Polo, an Italian explorer, visited the city in the late 13th century during his trip on the Silk Road. When Marco Polo arrived at Hangzhou, the Grand Canal, which is the world's largest artificial river, was already over 600 years old and stretched almost 800 miles. The Grand Canal's main purpose was to ship grain to Beijing. The canal helped China stay well connected and well fed, which in turn allowed the country to be an active player in international trade. Hangzhou was strategically located on the East China Sea, making it a natural center of trade. Hangzhou sent goods such as rice, porcelain, silk, iron, steel, gunpowder, and paper from the city and surrounding area to points on the Silk Road and to other farther trade partners via maritime trading networks across the Indian Ocean. Timbuktu, which is located on the Niger River in western Africa, was part of the Mali Empire and was an essential trade city on the Trans-Saharan Caravan Route. Malian rulers taxed the trade that passed through their region, which increased the welfare of the empire. Scholars from North Africa were drawn to the economically stable city as a peaceful center where they could concentrate on learning. Malian rulers valued learning. They welcomed Muslim scholars and offered them places to eat and sleep. Saharan salt pans, gold, and slaves were sent through Timbuktu to be traded in the various trade routes. North African horses, weapons, books, and brass bowls were also brought into the city before being sent on their way to their desired destinations. As a center for both learning and trade, Timbuktu was an influential part of the African trade system and a booming city. The exchange of goods between empires within the various trade routes also promoted the fusion of cultures between the regions. Cultural diffusion, which is defined as the spread of ideas and customs from one society to another, occurs in a variety of ways, including migration, war, and trade among diverse societies. An example of this was with the introduction of Buddhism to China and Central Asia from India. This was done when Buddhist monks tagged along in trade caravans and preached the religion to places they visited. Some evidence of this was the discovering of Buddhist monuments in numerous cities along the Silk Road. Another example was when sericulture, or silk weaving, spread from its origins of Khotan to Central Asia, Iran, and Byzantium in the 5th, 6th centuries. Before the Silk Road, the use of glassware was unknown in China before they introduced high-quality blown glass from Egypt and Middle Eastern Arab cities. Other ideas that moved across the Silk Road included the use of herbs for medicinal purposes and theories about astronomy, as well as Sufi teachers bringing Islam from Western Asia into Central Asia, Iran, China, and India. This has been my video on Key Concept 3.1. If you enjoyed this video, you should check out my other video on 2.2 if you have not already.